Without access to clean, safe source of water, it is nearly impossible for communities to have adequate sanitation facilities or practice good hygiene. The connection between water, sanitation, and hygiene has proven to be key to a healthy and productive society. In Nigeria, research shows that 122,000 people, including 87,000 children under the age of 5, die each year from diarrhea and other preventable water and sanitation-related diseases. Consequently, frequent episodes of these diseases lead to low productivity. For instance, absence from school due to ill health, or those who are supposed to be at work and business places taking time off to heal, while others are engaged in taking care of the sick ones. Nigeria has taken strong steps to improve its health status, and the declaration of a state of emergency on WASH, water, sanitation and hygiene, in 2018 is just one among many measures. Another major effort is the Clean Nigeria Stop Open Defecation campaign, launched in 2019. The project, being spearheaded by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources with support from UNICEF, is a public engagement component aimed at creating a national movement with elements of policy advocacy, public advocacy, grassroots mobilization, and private sector engagement. Perhaps Nigeria's strong drive to improving health and well-being of citizens through WASH is what gained it the official host of the 2022 World Toilet Summit, slated for November 2022. Well, how far has the country gone with its Clean Nigeria scheme, and what impact will hosting the 2022 World Toilet Summit have on the country? This will be the focus on the program Nigeria Today. I am Lydia Ochi. Welcome. Joining me in the studio is National Coordinator, Organized Private Sector on WASH, Dr. Nicholas Igwe. He's also the member Presidential Steering Committee on WASH. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Also joining us via Zoom. Hopefully we hope to join another guest via Zoom. But meanwhile, let me go on to Dr. Nicholas. Water, sanitation, and hygiene have a strong network for healthy living. Give us an insight into this before we move on.
Yeah, I think without really water, sanitation, and hygiene, we cannot make any meaningful progress on the economy. But it is still very sad that Nigeria, we've not been able to really discover this.
Okay.
If you look at Singapore transformed from third world country to first world country, and they were able to do that because they realized that water, sanitation, and hygiene will make a definite impact. It is only healthy people that can create healthy economy. Mm-hmm. If people are not healthy, they cannot go to school, they cannot go to work, it affects productivity, and so on and so forth. So without adequate water, sanitation, and hygiene, it's a dream for even Lagos or FCT to talk about mega cities when we still have people that defecate in the open, when we still have houses where we do not have even treated fecal sludge management in place, that people still evacuate and dump indiscriminately in different places, which has resulted, just last year, almost 4,000 people died of cholera in Nigeria and other gastroenteritis related diseases. So of course, water, sanitation, and hygiene, they all come together. You cannot go to toilet without washing your hands, that's hygiene. You cannot go to toilet without having running water to at least wash your hands and at least use to flush the toilet. So circular economy, you cannot also create green economy without creating wash, circular, or sanitation economy. So on the whole, water, sanitation, and hygiene, they play critical roles in economic development of any country, especially Nigeria as it is today.
Okay. Now, Nigeria in 2018 declared a state of emergency on WASH. Where are we today? Has the country made any progress since then?
Absolutely. That is the strongest political will, and that is why I'm happy that Nigeria has been selected. It is the first time in the history of Nigeria that Nigeria will be hosting the World Toilet Summit. The first time it ever happened in Africa was in 2012 in South Africa, and today, this year, is coming to Nigeria. Why is it like that? In 2018, the federal government realized that they have to create strong political will for all stakeholders to be able to come in and see how they can support. And when we talk about stakeholders, it's not just the private sector that I represent. We also talk about the development partners, the World Bank, UNICEF, USAID, and so on and so forth. Now, we also talk about the CSO, the NGOs. We also talk about the research and learning institutions. So in 2018, when our President Muhammad Buhari, in his wisdom, declared state of emergency in WASH, that was the first call to the global community, to Nigerians, to say we need support. We don't have to believe that government can do it alone. Government, we all need support. We have to mobilize everybody, if we want to get, apart from the WASH sector, people have to understand that they have also have to contribute. It did not end there. In 2019, the President signed Executive Order 009. What is that all about? It means that households, offices, everywhere, let us start these actions in area of water, sanitation, and hygiene. You don't have to build schools without having safely managed sewage treatment systems, or without even having toilet facilities. In the past, people just build schools. We have built a lot of toilet facilities in some schools. And I ask the question, how did you even build these schools in the first place without having toilet facilities?
Toilets, yes.
But through the signing of the executive order, we are now, people have now said that the government is ready. Not only that, the President in his wisdom as well created the Clean Nigeria Use Toilet Campaign Secretariat, which is a place where everybody must come together, private sector, go there, find out how you can help. Develop partners, go to the secretariat, find out whatever you can contribute to see that Nigeria, as we all know, Nigeria is taking #1 position in countries that defecate mostly in the open. And Nigeria today took over from India, which is not very good. But to an extent, it has created opportunity for people to understand that toilet or sanitation businesses can actually create jobs, that toilet sanitation issues can actually drive the economy, and that is obviously what the government has done. If you look at even in 2020, the President also went ahead to put together what I would call multi-stakeholders steering committee. I happen to be a member of that steering committee, where they said, okay, government, private sector, development partners, let's come together, interact on how we can get ourselves out of this very ugly status of #1 country in the world that defecate mostly in the open. And it's chaired by the Vice President. That is another strong political will that the government has shown. And it's based on this, whatever I've mentioned from 2018, 2019, 2020, and still running, that is making the private sector, Coca-Cola, Holborn, Guinness, all of them, Happy, that's a Benkisa, Hypo, all coming together to say, what do we do? How do we help? How do we partner with the government to create opportunities, even for the private sector, to understand that within the sanitation value chain, we can create jobs, we can generate revenue, we can also generate even methane gas, we can generate organic manure for the agricultural sector. So it's ongoing, and it's based on all these collective achievements of the government and the multi-stakeholders partnership that the global communities are seeing. That was why they chose Nigeria as a country to host 2022 World Toilet Day. And of course, the WTO in Singapore, they have actually signed an MOU with the OPS WASH as their co-partner in Nigeria to see that we leave a legacy.
All right.
It is not just about coming to host or making Nigeria a hosting country. What legacy are we going to leave behind at the end of the day? And I'll talk about that as we get on.
As we go on. Now, thankfully, we have established connections with our second guest via Zoom, and I'm talking about Nampet Chokto, independent WASH practitioner. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Okay, let me just go straight to you right now. Nigeria still ranks second among countries practicing open defecation globally. Yes, our guests in the studio already started talking about that. What is this telling about Nigeria? Are we not doing enough?
Thank you very much. We are making concerted efforts. Much can be done. Government has put in a lot of enabling environment. There's a push for partners to come on board. We have significant partners joining. The World Bank is supporting a number of states starting this year. However, we need strong ownership at the grassroots. There's need for mass mobilization. COVID has taught us that behavior change does take time. And the practice of hand washing, for example, we've seen that with collective behavior change and the government in the lead, it's possible to get households, public places, communities ending the practice of open defecation by constructing latrines and using latrines.
Okay. Now let me still ask you this. The organized private sector in water, sanitation and hygiene, OPS WASH, is to play a vital role to the success of WASH in this country. Is this sector doing its bidding?
Now, there's room for further discussion between the organized private sector and the general public. The organized private sector as businessmen wants to know what is in it for them. Government needs to create the enabling environment that will give them that sense of confidence that if we bring in our investment, it is worth our money.
Okay.
And I think that is the connection that is actually beginning to happen. Dr. Nicholas Igwe would probably have told you that the organized private sector have signed an MOU with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. They're in open discussion. They're trying to bring all parties to the table and then say, look, here are areas. What is your area of specialization? You can invest. We will encourage you. Government can encourage and is willing to. And that's why this discussion is happening.
Okay.
Government alone would not be able to take us to the promised land, if you would use that phrase. We need investors to come in, and the government will give the regulation that will allow for improved sanitation and hygiene for all Nigerians.
Okay, well, it's time for us to take a break, but we'll be back to continue with this conversation. Don't go away.
This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms.
Start Times Channel 101, Freak TV Channel 703, GSTV Channel 419, and Go TV Channel 46.
For more information, log on to our website www.nta.ng or join us on our social media handles, Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers.
NTA News 24.
News and more news.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We've been talking about the Clean Nigeria campaign, and our guests are still with us. Dr. Nicholas Igwe, National Coordinator, Organized Private Sector on WASH. And joining us via Zoom, we have Nampet Chuktu, Independent WASH practitioner. Dr. Nicholas, the Clean Nigeria Stop Open Defecation campaign targets grassroots mobilization. What is the level of cooperation at the state and local government levels?
I think that is a bit of a challenge at the moment. We have to be very honest. The federal government, they've done so well, especially the coordinated aid ministry, and especially the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu. They have done so much efforts have been put in on the federal level. And I've also gone very down there to say, state actors, how do you support? Because whatever that we are doing, without the state obviously having a buy-in and the local government, it will be a challenge. So what we have done in our own area as private sector is also look at the communication sector within OPS WASH. How do they use their networks like MTN, LTL to be sending out messages to almost 80% of the Nigerian population that have access to cell phones to say use toilet, wash your hand, and all those things as SMSs as part of their contribution. Having said that as well, we have also gone ahead to start planning for a very big event with ALGON. ALGON is Association of Local Government of Nigeria, where we have different chairmen of local government coming together and discussing. So because they are also a member of that steering committee, we said to them, how do we partner to take this message down to the grassroots? The message is not going to be for FCT alone. It's not going to be for the states alone. We also need the people down there in the local government, in different communities. But I must say that the government has really done very well, especially the Clean Nigeria campaign secretariat, because you also know that we have what we call the ODF campaign that they go to different communities, sensitize them, what we call the CLTS, because before you can declare LGA ODF, we have different procedures, different processes, and to be able to do that, you need to get the communities involved. And that is obviously from our own side in that particular area. There is an aspect of that area that we call market-based sanitation, where we can actually provide some kind of funding or funds for small players like the toilet builders organizations to be able to use to build toilet and they pay over a period of time. So actually we need to mobilize from the state level to the local government level.
All right. Now, earlier we mentioned that Nigeria is to host the 2022 World Toilet Summit slated for November. Nanpet, is this a recognition of what the country is doing on the Clean Nigeria campaign, or is it an indication that much still needs to be done on open defecation?
Thank you once more. It's a recognition of what Nigeria is doing. What Nigeria has been doing in the past few years, trying to eliminate the practice of open defecation. It is a recognition that we've put in significant effort and there's been investment to move Nigeria forward and change this narrative that Nigeria is among leading countries with the practice of open defecation. So I would say this is a recognition. We are one of the largest economies in the continent, and if you can get it right here, you will get it right in most parts of the continent.
Okay. Now, Dr. Nicholas, how will Nigeria benefit from this summit?
A lot. Number one is matchmaking, capacity to build it. What do we mean? That the whole world will be coming to Nigeria to say they want to first and foremost tell Nigerians that you need to create healthy environment for your economy to grow. They want to tell the private sector to say to them that you have a lot to gain within the sanitation value chain. I gave a presentation yesterday, and I cleared all these things up from one section of the value chain to the other. So they come to Nigeria to create a legacy that sanitation is actually a business. Just like Gaddafi have always said, that shit business is a serious business. So they come in to also partner with the local organizations in Nigeria. Because we're going to have a lot of international exhibitors coming to see how they can build capacity and how they can also invest as well or partner with local local organizations and invest in sanitation, especially in area of fecal sludge management. Remember, if you go to Lagos, people evacuate. Where do they take the fecal sludge to? We don't know. They dump them in a bush or in bushes or whatever, and they dump them in the water bodies. How do private sector from other countries partner with local companies and see how we can build decentralized sewage treatment system and start to manage our wastewater, our sewage water most effectively in such a way that we don't just waste them, but we can generate revenue by generating organic gas or manure from there and resell them, and at the same time creating jobs. I think that is the legacy that the Water Toilet Summit is going to create for the country as a whole.
Okay, Nampet, the minister, stakeholders, senators have had divided stands on the bill to establish Clean Nigeria Agency. Does the country necessarily need an agency like that to deal with situations of water and sanitation and hygiene?
Yeah, so recently this matter came up in the National Assembly about setting up an agency, and it did not pass the public hearing. But what Nigeria needs is a collective campaign which is multi-sectoral. Multi-sectoral meaning bringing everybody on board. We do not need to start tackling and prevent and curing. In a case like the similar, recently we've had this surge and scourge of the cholera outbreak. This campaign will get everybody on board. Public places, markets. Nicholas talked about bringing in the private sector. We need that kind of collective campaign where it's everybody. We're looking at schools, markets, in the communities. The chiefs and emirs are talking about it. They're galvanizing their people. People are seeing that this is directly linked to their well-being. And health is wealth. We're looking at the preventive side. We're looking at dignity. We're looking at safety for the woman and girl. And so what we need is a campaign with the highest political backing and the enabling environment as well as funding. I think this would really set and change the narrative, because we've seen it happen in India, and they had massive government funding. Every ministry literally had a budget line and a target to meet with regards to helping India end open defecation.
All right, Dr. Nicholas, how possible is the realization of the Clean Nigeria project by 2025?
It is possible if like I said, with what the federal government has put in place, especially, like I said, the multi-stakeholders steering committee, and with Nigeria hosting this 2022 Water Toilet Summit, and with the efforts that the coordinating ministry is putting together, and even also the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, they have also realized that they have to also be part of the campaign. Not only that, not too long ago, the Honorable Minister of Water Resources addressed the National Economic Council members, that's the governors and all the rest, to actually explain to them why they have to take the campaign seriously. You see, like Katsina and Jigawa state. I'm not saying Jigawa because it's the state of the Honorable Minister, or Katsina because it's the state of Mr. President. I'm saying that because they have actually done so well. They have taken it upon themselves, not just waiting for private sector to come in and support, or development partners to come in and support. They want to free their states. They want to free their states from that ugly incident of open defecation by everybody. Even philanthropists are also coming on board in those different states to say, how do we support? With that kind of efforts, and when we start having competition, when other states start seeing that Katsina is doing very well. The other day, Ondo State declared massively to end open defecation. The minister was there as well. I think they had it in a stadium. By the time other Ogun State is coming on board, it's not because it's the state of Mr. Vice President. It's because that people are beginning to understand. Other states will now start, joining in. And when they start, doing that, believe me, I think 2025 will be able to say, yes, we have done
and
it.
Also want to add that with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Wash Your Hand campaign really made Nigerians rise up to keeping themselves clean. This is where we'll wrap it up on Nigeria Today, the program. We want to appreciate our guest, the National Coordinator, Organized Private Sector on Watch, Dr. Nicholas Igwe. We appreciate your contributions. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
And also via Zoom, Nampet Chuktu, Independent Watch Practitioner. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And to our viewers, we want to thank you for being a part of the program always. And don't forget, you can still watch this episode and the other ones on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Till I see you again, I am Lydia Ochi. Goodbye.